When you open your laptop, launch a game, or unlock your phone, something extraordinary begins happening in complete silence. Inside the device, a tiny slab of silicon no bigger than a postage stamp starts making billions of microscopic decisions every second. It doesn't know what a game is, it doesn't understand photos or messages, and yet somehow it turns your taps and clicks into music, motion, and meaning. So how does a CPU actually do that? How can a physical object built from switches smaller than bacteria power everything from 1980s arcade games to modern artificial intelligence? To answer that, we need to zoom in, not just into the chip itself, but into the simple process that powers every modern device. A CPU, or central processing unit, is often called the brain of a computer. That comparison is useful, but it's also misleading. A brain thinks. A CPU does not. A CPU follows instructions relentlessly, precisely, billions of times per second. At its core, a CPU is a machine built to execute instructions stored as numbers. Those instructions tell it when to add two values, when to compare them, when to move data from memory, or when to jump to a different part of a program. Everything you see on your screen, every animation, every calculation, every word is the result of these tiny instructions being carried out in rapid succession. To understand how this works, imagine a small desk. On that desk sits a calculator, a sheet of paper, and a pencil. Behind the desk are shelves filled with books. Each book contains two types of pages, instructions and data. There's also a robotic assistant who can fetch books, read instructions, write numbers down, and use the calculator. This desk is the CPU. The calculator is the Arithmetic Logic Unit, or ALU. The paper is a set of registers, tiny storage spaces for numbers currently in use. The shelves are long-term storage, like an SSD, and the robot is the control unit. When you run a program, say opening a photo, the relevant book is brought from storage into working memory. From there, the CPU begins reading it one instruction at a time. Every CPU, whether it's inside a 1980s home computer or a modern smartphone, follows the same fundamental three-step rhythm: fetch, decode, execute. This is the process powering every modern device. First, fetch. The CPU keeps track of where it is in a program using something called a program counter. Think of it as a bookmark. The bookmark points to the next instruction that needs to be executed. During the fetch step, the control unit uses that bookmark to retrieve the instruction from memory and load it into a special holding area called the instruction register. At the same time, the bookmark quietly moves forward, preparing for what comes next. Second, decode. Instructions inside a CPU aren't written in English. They're written in binary, sequences of zeros and ones. The decode step is where the CPU interprets those bits and determines what action needs to be taken. Does this instruction tell the ALU to add two numbers? Does it tell the CPU to compare values? Does it instruct a jump to a different part of the program? An internal circuit called the instruction decoder translates the binary pattern into electrical control signals. These signals route data to the right places and activate the correct components. Then comes the third step, execute. This is where the actual work happens. If the instruction is an addition, the ALU receives two numbers from registers, adds them together, and places the result back into a register. If it's a comparison, the ALU checks whether one number is greater than another and sets special flags to indicate the result. If it's a memory operation, data is moved between memory and registers. Then the cycle begins again: fetch, decode, execute. Modern CPUs can perform this cycle billions of times per second. A clock inside the processor regulates this rhythm. Each tick of the clock coordinates the movement of electrical signals across microscopic pathways etched into silicon. But here's the fascinating part. Despite massive improvements in speed and complexity, the core process hasn't changed much in decades. Consider the MOS Technology 6502 processor used in early personal computers and game consoles. It contained just over 4,000 transistors and ran at about 1 megahertz. That means roughly 1 million cycles per second. Now compare that to a modern Apple Silicon processor with billions of transistors running at several gigahertz, billions of cycles per second. The scale has exploded, the complexity has multiplied, but the underlying process, fetch, decode, execute, remains the same. It's like technological DNA passed down through generations of chips. So if the process is so simple, how do modern CPUs feel so powerful? The answer lies in layering. First, there's width. Early processors handled 8-bit numbers. Modern CPUs commonly operate on 64-bit values, allowing them to process far larger numbers at once. Second, there's parallelism. Instead of executing one instruction at a time from start to finish, modern processors use pipelining. Think of it as an assembly line. While one instruction is being executed, the next can already be decoded, and another can be fetched. Multiple instructions are in motion simultaneously, each at a different stage. Third, there's prediction. When programs include conditional branches, like if this value is greater than that one, do something different, the CPU doesn't want to pause and wait. So it makes educated guesses about which path will be taken. This is called branch prediction. When it guesses correctly, everything flows smoothly. When it guesses wrong, it has to backtrack and try again. There's also cache, extremely fast memory located directly on the CPU. Instead of constantly reaching out to slower main memory, the processor keeps frequently used data nearby. This reduces delays and keeps the cycle moving at full speed. All of these enhancements exist to support the same fundamental process. They don't replace fetch, decode, execute, they optimize it. Now you might wonder, if everything is just instructions and numbers, how do we get from that to something as complex as a video game or artificial intelligence? The key is scale and abstraction. Individual instructions are simple: add, subtract, compare, jump. But when you combine millions of them into carefully structured programs, layers begin to form. High-level programming languages are translated into assembly instructions. Assemblers turn those into binary. Compilers optimize them. Operating systems coordinate thousands of processes. Graphics processors handle visual workloads. Neural processors accelerate machine learning tasks. And beneath it all, at the lowest level, the same cycle continues. Fetch, decode, execute. It never stops. From the moment you power on a device to the moment you shut it down, the processor is cycling through instructions, guided by its clock. There are alternative kinds of chips. Some, like ASICs, are built for one specific task and don't follow the same general-purpose cycle. Others, like FPGAs, can be configured for specialized logic flows. But the general-purpose CPU, the one inside your laptop or phone, still relies on this universal pattern. What makes it powerful isn't mystery, it's repetition. Controlled, precise, unimaginably fast repetition. And perhaps that's the most surprising part. The CPU isn't intelligent in the human sense. It doesn't understand what it's doing. It doesn't see images or hear sound. It simply transforms input into output by following rules. Yet from that mechanical obedience emerges everything we associate with modern technology: communication, entertainment, science, art, even artificial intelligence. The process is simple, the outcome is profound. The next time you open an app or stream a video, it might feel seamless, effortless, but beneath the glass and aluminum, billions of microscopic switches are coordinating in perfect rhythm, moving data, comparing values, branching between instructions, writing results back into memory. All powered by a process that hasn't fundamentally changed in half a century. How do CPUs work? They fetch, they decode, and they execute. And they do it so quickly, so consistently, that complexity emerges from simplicity. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want to explore more of the technology powering everyday life, let me know what topic we should cover next in the comments. And if you'd like to see more long-form breakdowns like this, consider subscribing.